Lance with Jody Vance. You know, I get a little extra excited when I get to talk about sports, and I'm getting more into esports, of course, with a 14-year-old. If you want to talk to me about gaming, I know more than I should. Media is kind of my jam. Our next guest is somebody who has all that covered and then some, a resume this thick. And if you're just listening and not watching, I'm going to say probably 3 inches thick. CEO of Tidal Gaming Group, Tom Hearn, is with us. Thank you so much for doing this.
Well, thanks for having me on.
I'm super excited to talk with you. Prior to hitting record on this session of First Glance with Jody Vance, I was mentioning we probably know about 9,000 people in common. If people are watching from the sports media world in Canada, certainly they've heard your name before. Give our viewer, our listener, a little bit of your background.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned, I was at the Score for, I guess, almost 10 years. We were there when we started incubating the sports app, actually, and eventually decided to sell the television network off to Rogers. I think was kind of what we felt was kind of at peak oil. So it was a good time to sell. And frankly, there was just so much going on with the app, and it was growing so quickly that it was like, okay, this is actually a real business now. And we took 60 people and we moved down the street to 500 King West and continue to build it up from there to a couple hundred people and 4 to 5 million users a month. Worked on all the analytics and monetization and the fun public company aspects of it. And I finished with them in just before PASPA was repealed, actually. And then they've gone on, as you know, to great success. They've sold off to Penn National. I went over to Sportech and worked in a different type of betting, horse racing betting, for a while. So.
And the reason why I asked you to give your background before we dive into Tidal Gaming Group is because I think there's a real piece of this investor puzzle when it comes to Equity Guru and what we're doing at First Glance, trying to give people the opportunity to get in on the ground floor of something that can grow exponentially. Your background with the Score, I mean, anybody who loves sports in Canada knows the Score and knows, perhaps at a certain age, as I'm pointing to myself, how it was grown out of an idea that hadn't even been tapped into yet. Yep. And then it became something that was so beloved and so user-friendly before we even really knew what a user was. I mean, you've been at the front end and front edge of this for decades now. I mean, we were babies, granted, we were just children back then. But here you are with Tidal Gaming Group. TIDL is the stock symbol on the CSE. Let's talk about Tidal and what your next project brings to the table.
Great. Tidal is, as we're focused in the esports space, we're both a media company and we're a technology company. And so on the media side, we've got lots of content providers, lots of gamers, some teams that play some of the games in our network. We bring advertising opportunities into that and create ad revenue that we share both with our players and then keep with some of it for the company. On the other side of the business, it comes from an acquisition we did at the start of last year, a company called SportsFlare. And what they bring is, you know, the world of sports betting is obviously exploding at the moment. You know, it was always big in Europe, but it never made its way over to North America. And as I say, when PASPA repealed and when the Canadian legislation changed, you know, now we're going to see a big proliferation of that. Now, a small part of that had always been esports. And there was parts of it because people just didn't know enough about how to bet on it, the amount of activity, the amount of, you know, the
how does it work, right? People just are like, I love it, but they don't know how to bet on it. Yeah.
But what SportsFlare has done is they put together a product set that not only can do kind of that standard sports betting, will team A beat team B, but they've also built a unique product called Bet on Yourself. And that product set basically lets you go into an environment of gaming against other players. And based on your historical playing patterns, we can set the odds and we can say player A should get, you know, 2 to 1 odds, player B should get 1.5 to 1 odds or 3 to 2 odds, throw $5 in each, play head to head. Or I can go in and play in an environment of 100 people in a Fortnite game or something and bet on myself. I think I can win. I think I can come top 3. So I'll place a bet on myself. And so we've got some partners doing that. And we think because that's skills-based wagering, we think that that's got a lot more opportunity proliferation-wise.
Nice.
It's less than, it doesn't have to reach the same standards as sports betting. It's more in the kind of daily fantasy genre from a
Yeah.
legalization perspective. Um, and also, it just expands the market dramatically. So while I may not know enough about the teams to want to make a bet in Fortnite, if I think I'm any good, I'll throw some money down on myself. And so
I
it makes,
love that.
makes it
I think
really interesting from that market perspective.
no
Um,
doubt. And at the same time, cultivating that competitive piece that, I mean, esports, we see the busyness of that lane already. The
yes,
highest echelon of esports is a multi-billion dollar industry
oh,
from a
absolutely.
competitive piece, which is so surprising to so many who might be like, there will never be a time where esports will be an Olympic sport. It's like,
You
might
know,
want to wrap your head around that.
we started the esports group at the Score
Yeah.
after, we had talked to our devs and they had said, they follow there's this passionate group of people who love esports just as much as you guys love sports. As much as you guys love the NFL, we love Fortnite. And I'm like, okay, let's give it a whirl. And we gave it a try. And we realized some different things along the way. They're not nearly as stats driven as we are in sports, but there's a lot of content there. The esports division is still a significant part of the Score. I've been to big Fortnite tournaments at what was the Air Canada Center and stuff, and the excitement level was, frankly, it was like a big WWE event.
Right.
It was fantastic, and those happen all around the world. Now, COVID's obviously had a big impact on that, but esports is interesting. You can take a lot of that online. I
Mhm.
can't, I can't take the NHL online. I can play it in front of an empty stadium, but esports was able to adapt a bit during that time frame and keep some activity going. And as you say, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. We're just trying to carve out our piece of the pie or our niche in that sports betting space with what we can do with all of the AI technology that we've developed that allows us to go in depth into a game and predictive model as the game's going on, what the outcomes are going to be, and set odds based on what that, because we've done all the algorithms and we can
Yeah.
sort out, I think we think the likelihood of the outcome of these games are the following, and we can set odds on that and people can bet on it. So
That is so cool. Honestly, this is really neat. Tidal Gaming Group Corp, headquartered in Toronto. TIDL is the stock symbol. We are with the CEO, Tom Hearn. You were officially named to this position this week.
yesterday, yes.
Congratulations.
My first day was on Monday, but it wasn't a market trading day, so we announced it yesterday morning. But I've been talking to them for a couple of months, and frankly, we worked out most of the details in early December, and so I've been on with the team a lot and getting up to speed. I feel great about this opportunity. For me, it takes kind of the culmination of what I've learned over my career, leadership in sports betting, understanding the esports space, understanding digital media, and kind of brings it all to a culmination for me and gives me an opportunity to work with some really talented people and try to develop something great. Now, we're starting from very humble beginnings. Our stock price was 27 cents today, which puts the company value in the $20 million range. But we think we have lots of things that we can do. We're targeting right now a lot of big sports books, some tier one providers in that space. And if we can be anywhere successful in starting to get them implemented and using our technology and then bringing more and more of the technology we develop into their sports books, we think we've got a great opportunity in the market space.
So when it comes to those wanting to get in on the ground floor, as you mentioned, the stock price is one that some might be able to say, hey, some of my hard-earned dough I can put towards this. Where are they going to find out the nuts and bolts here? Where are they going to see the deck? Where do they go to find out more about the company as a whole and do their due diligence?
So our website's called tidal.gg, TIIDAL.gg. I'm probably going to get the .com as well, so that because if you're not in the gaming world, you don't really get the GG yet. It's kind of a gaming world space, but on that website, we've got an investor relations deck. We've got some of the things that show the different product pieces that we've got. We've got links to our Sports Flare website, which shows some of the technology that we've created. We've got a bunch of our press releases up that talk about some of our recent deals with Gaming Stars, which is a lot of that
Right.
play versus the environment opportunity, as well as Game Scorekeeper, which was another deal that we did where we're essentially trading our abilities to have some of that AI capability for some of their data And so, so we've got lots of things that up there on the website, or you can email me at tom@tidal.gg and I'll answer questions for you, or ir@tidal.gg. You know, we're more than happy to answer questions. We're a small shop where we'll deal with everybody direct and try to get as many people as excited as we can.
That's just great. So again, it's TIIDAL.GG, TIIDAL.
Correct.
Get it into the muscle memory of how to spell it. But when you go to the stock symbol, it's just TIDL on the Canadian Exchange. Tom Hearne is the CEO, just named, and I love getting the on the ground floor conversation going, especially with somebody with your lineage, if you will. You are known to let your horses run, and I don't mean that as a reference to one of your many things on your resume, but even at the Score back in the day, surrounding yourself with good, smart, young, talented people, and then guiding them in a direction
Absolutely.
that
And
is
that's
meaningful.
part of what I really love about what you get to do in the technology space and in the esports and sports space is you work with a lot of young people. They bring a huge amount of energy, and what we do is we collaborate, we sort things out, we find the best pass, we learn quick, we move forward, and so Max, who runs the development side here for us, he's just like that. We've had some great conversations already. We go back and forth all the time. He's out of New Zealand, so we find the times of the day when we can cross and have lots of conversations. Charlie runs the media side, same ideas, but he's an esports veteran. He's been in the space for a long time. He's built up teams. He knows all the content providers. So I feel like I've got a great group of people here to work with, that in the investor base as well. And so we're really, it was all of those things kind of together that said, yeah, this is the time to take that shot and let's have some fun.
And this is the opportunity that you decided to put your name behind, which is a big piece of this as well. So if people want to get in, learn more about it, Tidal Gaming Group, TIIDAL.GG is the website, TIDL is the stock symbol. And Tom Hearne, I have a feeling we're going to be talking again as this continues to grow, as you said, right here on the ground floor, hearing about it first at first glance with Jody Vance, if you will.
Sounds fantastic.
Have a great one. We'll talk soon.
You too. Thanks very much.
What?